Alright folks, welcome to this exciting video where you once again join us in the beautiful landscape of Scotland. Today we're joined once again by Highlander 87 out here, and today we've come to document a wee bit of history we noticed as we were driving around the lands of Scotland here behind Lintrathen Loch, Lintrathen Reservoir. We noticed a wee building at the side of the path, the side of the road that we had never noticed before. And today when we've been out, we've actually noticed a few different locations that we're going to have to visit for future adventures on the channel. It's so cool in Scotland, the amount of history or wee nuggets that's just kind of hidden all over the place. And on this channel it's cool to document them all in one place and to come out on these wee adventures to see what the history is in the lands. So yeah, let's get into action. Check it out folks, here's the first point of interest over here. I'm not even sure what it is, but I'm being careful underfoot. I think it could be related to the waterworks of the Lintrathen Reservoir. What even is it? Look, it's a big chunk of cement. Check it out, this is incredible. What has this even been? Oh, I think there's a drain lid kind of thing under here. Yeah, we're heading further along. There's another building, but it's maybe just waterworks related. Sometimes in the land there was old farms and old buildings before the dam was put in position and before the water level rose up. And we have documented a few abandoned places around Lintrathen, and that's how it's cool today to come back and document more history we've never seen on the channel. Today, waterworks related history potentially. But yeah, there is a wee shed or a building or something up here, so yeah, it's so interesting folks often going somewhere you've never been before, exploring a piece of land. And this is a wee path that we didn't even know existed until today. So I believe this path we're on folks is actually a path created from deer as they've gone through this land, because some of those bits is just, you can see the footprints from the deer. Here, we might have been better even walking further inland slightly. What is that up ahead? Look at this Lintrathen Loch, it's got loads of these little gates and little paths. You can walk down to the water's edge. But we're heading further up here because there's a wee building somewhere. We could see it as we drove past. I think obviously it's waterworks related. It's often cool to see what they did for the control and the flow of the water supply. Back in the day, 1800s, sometimes they first constructed the dam, and then, was it no, in the 1900s they raised it to a higher level. More of the land got flooded. Look, here is the wee building hidden within this forest. This could predate the dam, and it might be nothing to do with it. This is what we love here folks, it's history that we've never documented before on the channel. A wee shed or a wee building which is at this point completely mysterious. We'll explore and see the clues of history that'll tell us the details, and it is cool on the videos coming and uncovering history. It's interesting the way it's made with the red brick but then also the normal stone. Oh look, the windows is open on the roof. Was it? Is it open? Yeah, look, it's been quite an industrial building by the looks of things. That'll be how it's had the red brick. Probably the fire has damaged the original stone. It's weakened it, so they've actually put new, fresh stones around the fire. Or at one time, they've maybe actually fitted a fresh fire range into the building. It's like somebody's been chilling out in here camping. Yeah, what even has this been folks? It is interesting hearing the fireplace in it, eh? That's a detail of the history that's interesting. And it obviously isn't related to the dam or the water. It must be a separate little building that's been here before. Yeah, those roofs are brilliant with the roof windows. It would just take a tree or something blowing the wrong way in a storm and these wee historical details could go missing.
I think it has been a little cottage at one point. And
it maybe has been. Yeah, it's maybe been a longer structure and we're only seeing the end of it. It's interesting that the shed door would be at this height Ken, obviously there's never been a car or a vehicle in here. Yeah, there's like an edge here, like, oh, like a dam almost. Look at the old buckets. See, this is interesting, that you can see the shape and the lie of the land, that there's an edge comes round. And then this little shed here, it could be related to the original dam. And maybe they had other smaller dams around the outside to feed it. Or this was maybe a maintenance hut or a building to do with that. Look at this, there's a wee hook here, which must have been to hold the door open on the windy days when they were doing whatever they were doing in those times in history. And then one day they must have just opened it up. I love the character of that, the way that nature just takes back over a place like this. The little historical details over the years can go missing. Yeah, it does look like it's always been this size, from what I'm seeing. Yeah, it's limestone mortar, like what would have been in a lot of buildings in like the 17 and the 1800s. They used to use limestone mortar. Whenever they built the first dam, I would say that's when this had been built. And they probably had a fireplace, because it would have been like potentially a maintenance hut. Yeah. See, because of the lie of the land in this area, and because it looks like a man-made area, we should take a wee walk up and see what history is potentially up here. Because there is little paths, look, leading all through here. There's one, and then there's one going up that way too. There could be more little buildings with historical detail. That is incredible to see that sitting in the forest. At this time of year, it's perfect for exploring places like this, because everything's died back for the winter conditions. In the summer, all this will be bushy and overgrown. Yeah, this has been another dam up here, isn't it? Judging from the lie of the land. And this is an old road, an old track leading up this direction here. Yeah, this is super interesting. This is some old groundworks here. Look, it comes round and then it's had a bit cut in it. Maybe at one time a sluice gate fitted down here to fill the water at the lower dam height where we were a minute ago. That is super interesting. I didn't even know this whole area existed in this forest. It's like an unplanned adventure, spontaneous, folks. But that's what we always do on this channel. We just go left and right, finding history at every turn. Yeah, there's a skeleton of an animal there. It looks like, I'm not even sure what, probably a deer or something. We're now at the top end of that waterway that we looked at 2 seconds ago, and there's this other big cutout area. Because I was originally thinking this is a track coming up here like an old road, but it only actually goes as far as here. And then there's a dry stone dike at the end of it. Yeah, so let's keep this adventure moving, folks. We're basically heading over here. Look, there's another track leading out of there. It's like a deer track or an animal path. Yeah, we need to watch out here, because this is literally the old waterway, I believe. Probably dug out and maintained at a certain time. And then now, just abandoned. It's important in that situation to walk on the high grassy mounds. And even then, my foot has been just about going under. Check it out, folks, our route has taken us over all these green trees here, which have fallen down the tree branches. And we are just going as the crow flies through this landscape in a straight line, basically. We're now coming back to the lower side of this dam area, just to see if there was another path, because there could be potential of another building at the far end of there. Check it out, folks, the adventure's not over. We've now crossed back over the main road and we've come in this little gate here, and we're going to take a look at the waters of Lintrathen Reservoir. Obviously over time, like when they originally built the first dam, the water would have been lower and the body of water was obviously so much smaller. And then in the early 1900s they decided they needed more water, so they had to actually raise the level. And then this is how the landscape turned out after it. Some of these trees most likely left here since the early 1900s, and that's how they've grown so big. Another interesting detail, Backwater Dam also is piped under the ground all the way down to the Lintrathen Waterworks, and that also supplies the same water supply as Lintrathen Loch. Just look at this scene out here, folks. Look, the wee boathouse and stuff up at the top. And I have explored some of Lintrathen Loch over the years, but I've never actually come to this particular corner. I think I've been over there and stuff. Is that not where the abandoned farm is, way down at that side? Normally there's so much birds and animals and nature out here. It's pretty cool, folks. It's always amazing going to a wee corner of Scotland you've never been. A scene like that, it's just... I always promise you the coolest of locations on the channel. See this is what happens when it's frosty in Scotland. The ground does that around the stones, and you would think, how does it look like that? Because it's almost like the stone's been moving around in there. But I think it's the amount of ice that builds up, it pushes the earth apart, then it makes the ground bulge like this in certain areas. Look at this, there's pure ice here. That shows the wintry conditions we're dealing with here. Highlander 87 is just about slipping around. Check it out. Oh, imagine it was deep below that, eh? Sliding around, folks. I don't trust how deep it is below here. I could go up to my ankles. Skating on a loch. Yeah, it's interesting the amount of stones and stuff. I'm not sure if they would have dumped stones around the top edge again when they first constructed it to protect the shoreline. But obviously it can only get to a certain height before it goes over the overflow. Yeah, it's amazing to see this. What's the deal with this little boathouse, eh? It looks incredible today. So this is an incredible place, folks, to end this video. And it's been another fun adventure documenting a piece of history we had never seen before, with that little tin shed, or the shed with the tin roof. It's amazing to see the old fireplace, the way it's been built and maintained or repaired, and the way they used to have those wee buildings for what they were doing at that time. It's like ancient waterworks and stuff, probably related to the first dam here, or they may have even had waterworks before that in this area. But it is incredible to document that on the channel as well. Not only the history of like old standing stones or Cold War bunkers, also things like this. It's like old abandoned buildings which at one time was probably related to the fresh drinking water. As I slip over this ice, the fresh drinking water for Angus and Dundee, which is supplied from this location. Yeah, it's a proper bog. I'm going over the stepping stones. But yeah, what better place to end it than here, folks. Goodbye from me, goodbye from Highlander 87, and we'll catch you very soon for the next adventure when we head into the wild lands of Scotland.